This is the Channel 6 Late Evening News for Saturday, May 20th, 1978.
Good evening, I'm Ken Ragsdale with Larry Burnett and Dale Hogg. French and Belgian paratroopers have seized control of the Zairian copper mining center of Kolwezi from rebels. French and Belgian army officers say their troops now control the city and are mopping up small rebel bands. Earlier today, Zairian President Mobutu flew to Kolwezi to inspect the situation. Officers say about 100 foreigners have been massacred there, and military sources say 7 paratroopers of the French Foreign Legion were killed during the fighting. No casualties reported among the Belgians. 3 terrorists armed with submachine guns opened fire on Israeli airline passengers at Paris's Orly airport today. The terrorists were killed in a half-hour gun battle with police. 1 policeman also died. Japan's controversial Narita airport was finally declared open, but it was an opening marred by violence as radical protesters staged firebomb attacks on the new facility. An estimated 15,000 people, but it was a running battle as the protesters repeatedly made their hit-and-run attacks. 2 Soviet nationals employed by the United Nations were arrested today on espionage charges. They're accused of buying classified U.S. documents on anti-submarine warfare. The FBI says the Soviets picked up the documents in some phone booths along a New Jersey highway, leaving behind cash payments hidden in such things as milk cartons and a peanut crunch can. An Atlas Centaur rocket lifted the Pioneer Venus orbiter into space from Cape Canaveral, Florida today. Scientists hope to learn more about the watery planet. The blast went off exactly on schedule. Twin planet Earth. The Pioneer Venus is the first of 2 spacecrafts that will measure the atmosphere and make surface maps of Venus. Well, still to come tonight, a wreck on the south side leaves 1 Tulsan injured. State Senator Frank Keating returns to court next week as part of that cocktail controversy. And Broken Arrow celebrates the diamond anniversary of Rooster Days. We'll have these stories along with the sports weather and more tonight when the Channel 6 Late Evening News continues. Rain-slick streets are being blamed as the cause of several accidents throughout the city this morning. This accident here we're about to see occurred shortly after 11 o'clock this morning at 53rd and South Lewis. There are the scenes. 4 Northeast Oklahomans and a Kansas teenager are the area's latest traffic victims. 18-year-old Stephanie Sue Kendall of Bartlesville died in an accident in Wagner County. Another accident up in Ottawa County claimed the lives of 19-year-old Johnny Routh Jr. and 18-year-old Bradley Price, both from Quapaw, and 16-year-old Eddie Morris of Baxter Springs, Kansas. Doug LeMay of Sallisaw was killed near Sallisaw late last night in another accident. Republican State Chairman Rick Shelby continued his attack on Governor Bourne's handling of the government's Comprehensive Employment Training Act, CETA as it's called. Shelby says Wewoka Finance Commissioner Warren Sarber has been getting $800 a month as a court clerk down in Seminole County. The money comes from the federal government through the CETA program. Shelby says the CETA programs were created for poverty-stricken people, those unemployed or in need of training. Shelby says Sarber drives late model cars and has a nice home. Another Democrat is in the campaign for the lieutenant governor's spot. State Representative Spencer Bernard announced today here in Tulsa that he will run. He is the current Speaker Pro Tem of the House and is an 18-year veteran of the state legislature. Bernard says the lieutenant governor's position, can be strong, and he expects to work the most on the Tourism Commission.
For the progress of Oklahoma, now I'm going to work with the commissioners and others to develop Oklahoma.
Board member Robert Copeland says he's in agreement with the legislative resolution asking for the easing of certain parole guidelines. Copeland says he thinks that what he calls deserving convicts should not be restricted from using alcohol and firearms when they are paroled. Last week's raids on 2 Southeast Tulsa clubs have caused a good deal of uneasiness among several local club owners and their patrons. Bob Lozier reports that if you're in doubt about getting served a drink, bring your own bottle. Well, that obviously was not the report. We hope to get back to that soon. There will be a new president of Connors College down at Warner on July the 1st. Carl Westbrook of Lamar, Colorado, has been named by the Board of Regents to head the 2-year school. Westbrook is currently president of Lamar Community College. The annual Rooster Day celebration, which dwarfs even the Stillwell Strawberry Festival in the number of people who attend, was held today in Broken Arrow, and Bob Lozier was there.
Tulsa's next show, Movie Memories with Lucille Ball and Orson Welles. What happened when Orson took Lucy to a premiere? Lucy's side of the story.
You said, "Who's that?" and I don't care. That's what you said.
Orson's side of the story.
You know I have to get right back home after the show.
Dick Van Dyke and his memories of Orson. And Sally Struthers with a few wedding photos and memories of Archie.
Dinah, Monday afternoon at 3, here on Channel 6.
Well, we're going to try and play that story for you on last week's raids on two southeast Tulsa clubs, which have caused a great deal of uneasiness among several local club owners and their patrons. Bob Lozier reports again that if you're in doubt about getting served a drink, bring your own bottle.
This is a normal Thursday night at Reflections Club, Tulsa. Thursday night at Pistachios Club, the second largest disco at 51st and South Memorial. Both have memberships exceeding 9,000 people. After last Thursday's raids, both clubs are now short of Channel 6 News.
Some Saturday night people in the news, people like Tulsan Bobby Baldwin. Bobby outlasted 42 of the world's best poker players to win the $210,000 in the 9th World Series of Poker in Las Vegas. His showdown hand Friday night over Crandall Addington capped the 4-day tournament at Binion's Horseshoe Casino. 27-year-old Baldwin won with a pair of queens. The 42 players each put up $10,000 in the game, which was a form of 7-card stud. And incidentally, you can see the highlights of Bobby Baldwin's win coming up on the CBS Sports Spectacular, August the 9th, right here on Channel 6. And we have one other people note tonight. It involves a retired American Airlines pilot who left his job in style yesterday with himself and some of his pals hitching along for a unique retirement ride. And Dave Monsees reports from New York.
That's Harry Stewart with his New York.
Well, I'm going to knock on wood, and I'm going to read this and say the annual Rooster Day celebration, which dwarfs even the Stillwell Strawberry Festival in the number of people who attend, was held today in Broken Arrow. And with luck, Bob Lozier was there.
The Rooster Day celebration in Broken Arrow originally began about 4 years. Broken Arrow.
Well, a lot of fun for my friends in Broken Arrow, and we had a lot of fun today playing outdoors. I hope there's more of it in store for tomorrow, Dale.
So did I, Ken, but I must admit I was a little bit puzzled this morning because we had 70s. Our neighboring Fort Smith has a 70-degree reading, Fayetteville 72. The SpectraScan 6 reading tonight, we are looking at a 150-mile radius. Not looking too bad. There is some shower activity down near Oklahoma City, as you can see as we throw the details in on the map. That shower activity probably will move up into the Tulsa area with a 50% chance tonight. Currently here in Tulsa, cloudy skies, 72 degrees, the winds out of the north at 8. A low temperature reading this morning, 67, a high today of 84 degrees. Here's a look at our full spectrum forecast, cloudy and mild, and a chance of showers and thunderstorms, as I mentioned, about 50%. 50% also tomorrow, and on Monday, 40%. A look at our 7-day forecast very quickly. We can see that looking through the week, there's a possibility of showers, I mentioned, for tomorrow. Moving very quickly through the week, partly cloudy skies, warm temperatures throughout the week. So not too bad, even though we will have some shower activities. Ken?
Well, Dale, thank you very much for the weather, and we'll be back in just a moment.
See for yourself. Look into a loaf of fresh rainbow bread today.
My goodness. Well, the government this week put out its revised figures on economic growth for the first quarter of the year, but they still added up to a dismal performance. With this and other stories relating to the economy this week, Reed Collins reports on the Business Week in Review.
The revised gross national product for the first year, but a veto threat from President Carter and lack of strong support in the Senate have effectively killed that effort for now.
And there was Larry with the sports.
A little preview so people know what's coming up here. Steve Coughlin today rode Affirm to a wire-to-wire victory in the Preakness. It was, as expected, a two-horse race between Affirm, the Kentucky Derby winner, and arch-rival Aladar. But in the end, it was Affirm picking up the second jewel of racing's Triple Crown.
Last night in Corvallis, Oregon, Mike Tully was the winner, too, but his finish line was in the sky. Tully, a 21-year-old senior at UCLA, set a world record in the pole vault, barely clearing the bar at 18 feet, 8 3/4 inches at a college track meet.
And those horses jump like they've never jumped before. We'll try to get that tape up for you just a little bit. Affirmed winning the Preakness today, the second of racing's Triple Crown. In winning that race today, Affirmed was just 2/5 of a second off the Preakness record. The winner's purse of $136,000 now puts Affirmed's career earnings over $1 million, and they'll be looking ahead to the Belmont Stakes next June 10th. Oklahoma State running back Terry Miller signed a series of one-year contracts with the Buffalo Bills today. No terms disclosed, but Miller, the team's #1 draft choice, was reportedly asking between $1.5 to $2 million for a 5-year contract. Southern Illinois University whipped Tulsa University today 8-1 in the semifinals of the Missouri Valley Baseball Tournament. The clincher was a 6-run 4th inning for the Salukis, aided by 2 wild pitches from losing pitcher John Hessler. The two teams will meet again at 5 p.m. Sunday. That will decide the Valley Championship, also a slot in the Midwest Regionals at ORU next week. In Oklahoma City tonight, they got rain. It came in the 8th inning, and at that point, Oklahoma State was leading Missouri 3-2. The game has been rained out now. It is an official game, and those two teams will play tomorrow at 2:30 at 89er Park. The champion will be crowned in that game, and they will also get a trip to ORU for the first round in the NCAA Regionals Friday night. Well, the Titan baseball season ended today, the regular season that is, with a 13-6 win over Northern Colorado. ORU will now be off until next Friday night when they host the Big 8 champion in the NCAA Midwest Regionals. Today, the Titans belted 13 hits out, including a home run by George Dorkman right there. It's his 20th of the year. Dorkman had 3 RBIs today, as did center fielder Vince Bennick. Freshman Rick Stewart got the win with relief help from Warren Hollier. The win is ORU's 15th straight and 22nd out of the last 23 games. They finished the season at 41-10. Today, Buddy Slemp had 2 hits. That gives him 207 for his career at ORU, and that ties the Titan career record. Well, the Trillers got rained out today in San Antonio. They'll play again tomorrow, but in the big leagues today, the Rangers have a late game with Seattle. Chicago falls to Oakland today. In Kansas City, the Twins trailing the Royals now 3-1, that game in the 6th inning. Boston edges Detroit. The Orioles get by Cleveland tonight, and New York losers to Toronto. California trailing Milwaukee 5-3, that game in the 6th inning. Over in the National League, Atlanta trailing Houston 9-0, that game in the 7th at this point. The Dodgers are behind the Giants 1-0, that game early in the 2nd inning. In the Big Apple, the Mets lost to the Phillies in 11 innings today. Pittsburgh shut out Montreal. St. Louis falls to Chicago, and San Diego losers in Cincinnati. Well, it rained pretty hard this morning, but that did not dampen the spirits for the Green Country Soccer Championships at Skelly Stadium. Over 11,000 youngsters are in that program, and today they crowned their champions. Union girls won the under-8 title, while Skytook won the boys' event. South Tulsa took both under-10 categories, as well as the girls' under-10 crown. Broken Arrow won the boys' event. 14 and under girls went to Jenks, while the Shadow Mountain boys won, and then it was Shadow Mountain also winning the under-16 girls. Northeast Tulsa won the boys' title, and the under-19 action is going underway right now. Joanne Carter has a 2-stroke lead after 2 rounds of the LPGA tournament in New Jersey. Carter had a 5-under-par 66 for a 2-day total of 137. Pat Bradley is second, with Nancy Lopez and Dr. Main tied for third. In men's golf, Jim Simons leads after 3 rounds of the Memorial Tournament in Ohio. Simon sank a 10-foot birdie putt on 18 for a 1-stroke lead over Bill Kratzer. Well, there are some people smiling tonight and some people sporting sore arms after the day-long arm wrestling championships at the Woodland Hills Mall. It was labeled as the Grand Prix Tournament, one of 27 of its kind in the United States, Europe, and Canada. Today's contestants were vying for trophies in several weight and sex divisions, with the winners representing the area in the World Championships to be on CBS later on this year. Well, there was more rain today at Indianapolis in the time trials, but they did get some qualifying runs in. Tom Sneva beat the rain and everyone else around the track over 202 miles per hour today, and he wins the pole position. They'll have some more qualifying tomorrow. Well, despite some threats of bad weather and a little of the wet stuff, they did get the races in at the Tulsa Speedway tonight, and a good crowd on hand once again to see it all. In a holdover from last week's action, it was George Armstrong winning the Super A feature. That's last week's Super A feature. In the street stock, the C feature went to Fred Davis, the B feature to Terry Hill, and the A feature to Larry Kassinger. In the modifieds, the Trophy Dash went to Virgil Barnes, the B feature to Gary Tapp. Gene Paddock won the A feature. In the Super Division, the Trophy Dash went to George Armstrong, the B feature to D.E. Stuggs, and the A feature is in progress right now. If we can check, we'll see if we have that tape up on the Kentucky Derby. We do not have it. Heck of a race today. It was affirmed in Aladar taking it to the wire. Affirmed with Steve Coffin going right out from the gate. He took the lead, stayed ahead right up to about the 16th pole, and then they took it in and went straight in. We do have that tape now, and we're going to take a look at it from CBS. We don't have that tape now.
We don't have the tape, Larry. That's what they were trying to say.
You should have been there, though. I'll tell you, it was one of the fine races you're going to see. It was Aladar and Affirmed going all the way to the wire. Of course, Affirmed winning it today with Steve Coffin on board. And what a race it was, as they took it right down to the wire, as they say, and Aladar, a come-from-behind racer, and just didn't have enough. A couple notes here. The Major League Rodeo results in Twisters beat Los Angeles tonight, 61-41. They remain undefeated. Oklahoma University won the Big 8 track championship. Southern Illinois won the Missouri Valley track championship. And that's enough.
That is enough. We'll be back in just a moment.
Real tortilla chips. First tortilla chips that really stack up.
Well, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight. And now for Larry Burnett and Dale Hogg, I'm Ken Ragsdale. Good night.
The late movie is next. Cool Hand Luke, starring Paul Newman and George Kennedy. Hiccups provide problems Monday at 4. Channel 6 Saturday Late Show, tonight presenting Paul Newman and George Kennedy in Cool Hand Luke, the story of a young chain gang member who defies the prison guards and gains the respect of his fellow inmates.